put some rosy
I love
on
you,
the
Triple
wood.
H.
Standing on the shit so you can get it understood. It's pedigree in me because I'm that damn good. Bitch, I'm
Happy
that
birthday,
damn
Randy.
good. Bitch, I'm that damn good. Smoking on some good, something rosy.
Hello, Jeff Hardy, the Charismatic Enigma here, and you are watching the Common Sense Ain't Common podcast.
Because I'm that damn good. Bitch, I'm that damn good.
Yo, what is up? This is Dame Don, host of the Common Sense Ain't Common podcast, obviously. I wanted to just come and touch base. It has been a little while since I've done a wrestling episode, wrestling weekly report, non-wrestling episode, just a podcast in general. As most of you all know by now, there was a plethora of both NXT and WWE releases that took place yesterday. And so I just kind of want to take this time to just dive into the releases and maybe just kind of give my opinions about a couple things. I'll also be dropping a Jade Cargill podcast sometime this weekend. I'm going to record it right after this. But anyway, let's just jump right in. I'm pretty sure the first tweet we all saw this morning was Ali saying that he is no longer in WWE. Of course, that is Mustafa Ali announcing this morning that he is no longer in WWE. And for me, this was probably the most confusing one. I even commented on his tweet are you in character? I was just so confused because even right now Ali is advertised to face Dominic Mysterio for the NXT North American Championship. I believe that match was scheduled to take place either Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure if maybe Ali was kind of they told him he was going to lose to Dominic and he was just fuck it. Just release me. He has been kind of asking to be released for quite some time, and then he stayed and was enjoying his time there, and then he wanted to leave again. So I'm not really sure if he wanted to leave or if this was just a complete company decision. But either way, it completely sucks. Ali is a tremendous talent, an underrated talent, an underutilized talent. I feel like there was so much that they could have did with Ali and Retribution. I also feel like there was a lot of different talent that could have been released in his place. And of course, I'm never stating that, we want people to lose their jobs and things of that nature. But when you're looking at the roster and people that aren't really doing anything, or people that are just sitting in the back, or people that just aren't really that good, I'm sure you could have thought of maybe one or two other people to cut. That was not Mustafa Ali. The next one that was cut was Madcap Moss, the boyfriend of Emma Tennille Dashwood. And he seems to kind of be blaming this on regime takeover of Triple H. He did make a tweet stating that, I know a lot of you felt once Triple H took over, I wasn't really utilized, or something like that. He tweeted, which is kind of true, because I guess Vince really did kind of see something in him. He had him as the punchline guy with Baron Corbin, and then he was doing this stuff, and he was actually kind of getting a push under the tutelage of Vince McMahon, under the creative of Vince McMahon. And then once Triple H took over, that kind of stopped. Then they kind of tried to put him with Emma for a little while, which didn't really work at all. That didn't really go anywhere at all. And he was just kind of very bland to me, honestly. He was very much creator wrestler vibes to me, from the theme song, the gear, to the little entrance where he was trying to make the little box thing and then kicking the box out of the frame or whatever. It was just very creator wrestler. He was almost like the basic Chaw you first, back in the days in the video games when you used to get just this created wrestler that was already made for you. He's very much a pre-selected creator wrestler, in my opinion. The next release I'm going to get into is Aaliyah. Aaliyah was released. She, of course, does have that fastest winning streak or whatever it was in the WWE. She was one of the longest talent to be in NXT, and then they finally gave her a chance on the main roster. I believe one of her last appearances was actually winning the tag team championships with Raquel Gonzalez on Monday Night Raw. But Aaliyah hasn't really been seen for quite some time. I was really only surprised by a handful of these releases. There was really some that were kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, they're just kind of getting rid of some talent. I do also feel like we do have to take into consideration that there was a period of time where WWE wasn't hiring or firing anybody. So these releases, they may seem like a lot, but they may also just be people that should have been released over time, but they weren't letting go, or, you know, they weren't doing anything with anybody at that time. So that's kind of what I think is happening here. But Aaliyah was released, and again, I wasn't really surprised by Aaliyah being released whatsoever. Elias Ezekiel has been released, and after he was released, he did confirm that he was Ezekiel, which was quite the shock to me. I had no idea that Elias was Ezekiel. Quite the shock to me. I was never really a fan of Elias personally. I thought the WWE stands for Walk with Elias. That was probably like the extent of my fandom of Elias, was WWE stands for Walk with Elias. That was pretty much it. Other than that, I never really got into his character. I never really got like the whole drift away guitar thing. It just he was just always a guy that was kind of just there to me. And another guy like that is Rick Boogs. He was just kind of a guy that was just there for me. He was really good with Shinsuke Nakamura. Then he tore his ACL or had some type of injury in the tag match at WrestleMania, and he's just kind of never really recovered after that. I do believe he was drafted to NXT in that latest draft. I think he was drafted to NXT or SmackDown. I don't remember where he was drafted to, but he was drafted. But obviously that didn't happen. Nothing happened with that at all. Another release that is really interesting to me here is Top Dollar without Hit Row. Just Top Dollar, not B-Fab, not Ashante the Adonis, just Top Dollar was released. And I think this is very interesting that he was released the day after he just made these tweets, and he was just kind of answering people's tweets about him being difficult to work with and this and that. I think it's really weird that he was released after he had kind of cleared all this up. It almost makes you scratch your head like, well, maybe was there something going on that he didn't know about? Like, because why are you the only one that was released? I'm not saying that he's hard to work with or anything like that, but what was he possibly rubbing people the wrong way unbeknownst to him and he just didn't know? I wonder if that's a possibility. Maybe he was just kind of being himself, and you know, sometimes people can take things the wrong way if they don't really know you personally. I'm a victim of that. So I don't know, maybe things were happening that he just didn't know were happening, but I definitely feel like it's very interesting that only he was released and nobody else was released. Another NXT release that took place was Shanky, and I think that's kind of interesting that Veer wasn't released, Jinder Mahal wasn't released, and again, I'm never asking for anybody to lose their jobs or hope anybody to lose their jobs. I think it's just very interesting that only Shanky was released. It's also an interesting tidbit that his last match actually took place in India against Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship, so I guess that is like a kind of good memory to send him off on. I guess that kind of sends him off on a high note, but at the same time, it kind of sucks because you kind of feel like you're at the top of the world, and then pretty much your world just comes crashing down on you. So, I mean, I wish him the best, and I think it just kind of sucks. Also, something that's kind of dawned on me, and I also seen somebody tweet this today, like, WWE doesn't even wish people, like, the best in their future endeavors anymore. Like, they just like, oh, you're fired. Like, that's it. Like, you remember back in the day, they used to be, oh, he's been released, and we'd like to wish him the best in his future endeavors. They don't even do that anymore. It's just like, oh, okay, get the fuck out. Thank you. It's so weird to me. It's so weird to me, and it's also weird to me how they release talent that is like literally on TV on Tuesday, like Mustafa Ali, Dana Brooke. Now, I've been trying to save some of the ones that I was really shocked about for the end here. So let's get into some of the ones that I was really like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm gonna start with Dana Brooke. I probably feel the worst for Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke has literally been begging for an opportunity for at least the last 5 years. At least the last 5 years. They made her 24/7 champion, almost kind of made that championship into something kind of credible, and then they just kind of threw it, well, not kind of, they literally threw it in the trash. You can kind of tell that she really took that personally with them throwing it in the trash. Dana Warrior was a big advocate of hers, a really, really big advocate of hers. Dana Warrior was also released, so I wonder if that maybe had something to do with that as well. I feel like Dana Brooke had so much potential. They could have capitalized on Dana Brooke when she turned on Charlotte Flair. They could have capitalized on Dana Brooke when she was in the tag team with Emma. She was obviously about to turn heel on this other girl in NXT. Like, I don't know why they would release her in the middle of this story. She was clearly doing some really good character work. I was really excited for these heel promos that I felt like Dana was going to cut, because Dana gets a lot of hate. Dana gets a lot of slack, and she's always just been so positive. So, you know, slap her in the face and she's just kind of like, can I have another? So I was really excited for her to really kind of turn heel and just give it all back to the fans, what the fans have been giving to her. I really feel the worst for Dana Brooke. I definitely hope that she can kind of turn this into a bigger opportunity, and that this is not like something that like just completely breaks her heart and makes her not want to wrestle at all. She's definitely been through a lot. I know like her boyfriend died at one point or something like that, or her husband or something like that died while she was under contract. So yeah, I just feel really bad for Dana Brooke, but I also feel like Dana Brooke would fit in perfectly at TNA. Dana Brooke would be a shoo-in at TNA. TNA would give Dana Brooke every opportunity that she has been looking for, and she won't even have to beg for them. They will hand them to her. TNA has been doing women's wrestling better than anybody ever since 2007. I've been begging for TNA to just get a new channel for like the last 3 years. Like, go listen to the podcast. It's on record. I definitely feel like Dana Brooke would benefit from a TNA run, and I definitely hope that she just keeps going, because I know this is a really hard pill for her to swallow. Next, I want to talk about Dabakota. I don't know how to say whatever that name is, but I know him as Commander Aziz, formerly Commander Aziz with Apollo Crews. He was just really never able to get his legs under him again after the whole Apollo Crews storyline with the Nigeria thing. I know they tried to test him out with Cora Jade at one point and kind of see if him and Cora Jade would work, and that didn't work. If I'm being honest, I'm a little shocked that Dabakota lasted as long as he did. And again, I'm not saying that he should have been fired, but I am surprised that he has lasted as long as he did, especially considering he hasn't really done anything since the Nigerian stuff with Apollo Crews. I definitely feel like he is another talent that can kind of go elsewhere and really showcase what he's able to do, and hopefully he is capable of doing more than they think he's able to do, or even us, me. Like, hopefully he's capable of doing more than we all think he's capable of doing. Next, I want to talk about Mace and Mansoor. I feel like with Mace and Mansoor, the writing was kind of on the wall with them. My only wish with Mace and Mansoor was that they kind of at least had like a better explanation as to what happened with Maxine. Maxine just kind of started crushing on Otis and then just kind of picked Otis, unless I missed something. But there was never like anything that really happened to like this groundbreaking decision of, oh, okay, I'm going with them now. Mansoor did also just state on a Twitch stream earlier today that he wasn't really able to do many matches on NXT due to his contract from Saudi Arabia, or something with his contract involving Saudi Arabia. He wasn't able to lose much, or he wasn't allowed to lose much. So that's why he was on NXT, and then he wasn't really on NXT after that, because I guess due to his contract in Saudi Arabia and all that stuff, he wasn't really allowed to lose, which makes me think, if he wasn't allowed to lose, how are they going to react to him not having a job at all? But I did also hear that after he had turned into the male model or whatever, he wasn't even allowed to go back to Saudi Arabia, which is why he wasn't at Crown Jewel or Elimination Chamber or whatever else that last pay-per-view was. But we definitely wish Mason Mansour the best as well. Mace did kind of tweet that he's excited for the future and he's just excited to be himself. He stated that he had been with WWE for 10 years. I don't know what the hell he's been doing there for 10 years, but I don't recall seeing him there for 10 years. He may have been, but I don't recall. I don't really know much about this person personally. Well, I guess I don't know much about any of them personally, but I don't know much about this person as a wrestler, as a talent. But Quincy Elliott, I know, is someone that a lot of people have been kind of clamoring at, that they've wanted to be released for quite some time. I guess there was maybe some things going around where he was like talking about co-workers or something like that. I don't even remember, but Quincy Elliott has been released. I'm really not too familiar with who he is as a talent or anything like that, but I do know that there was a lot of people to see him go. Like, I mean, when his release was announced, there were people like Good Riddance, and even he posted like, let the celebration begin. So I don't think that he'll be missed, or I don't think either side will miss either side. It doesn't sound like he'll miss WWE, and it doesn't sound like the fans will miss him either. Daniel MacArthur, he's a 4-time NAACP All-American, was released. Kevin Cortez was released. Is that his name? Kevin Cortez was released, I think his name is. Alexis. All of these talent have not debuted just yet. They were all signed last year. I am a little confused how they were released so quickly. I do remember not long ago, WWE kind of released some type of statement stating that they were giving talent 3 to 4 years to be released, to not improve, and then they would be released. So I'm not exactly sure why these talent were released and they haven't even debuted yet. Also, there was Bryson Montana as well. None of these talent have debuted to my knowledge, and even Alexis kind of hinted at maybe she wasn't improving. She made a tweet earlier today stating, you know, I had never wrestled in my life, but I still gave it my all. But she did also state that she will not quit. So we definitely want to wish them the best as well. Let's get into the last 3 biggest names in my opinion. Shelton Benjamin is a fucking disgrace that they are going to release Shelton Benjamin. He is the only one from the class of Brock Lesnar, Batista, Randy Orton, I think. I don't know. He's the only one that is not the world champion out of that class. He's also the only one that's been released 2 or 3 times. Like, I don't understand the disrespect for Shelton. I don't understand why they couldn't at least find something for Shelton to do. I mean, Shelton Benjamin was like one of the intercontinental champions of my childhood. So it kind of baffles me that they sit and act like they can't find anything for fucking Shelton Benjamin to do. It baffles me. Emma, as one of the founding fathers of Give Emma a Chance, I'm devastated. But also, seeing the way Emma was released the first time and how she transitioned into Tennille Dashwood, I know that she'll be all right. I know that she'll be able to, you know, go back into Tennille, and she won't really take it as hard as she did the first time. I just think it's so crazy how they announced the Elimination Chamber in February is taking place in Australia, which is Emma's home country. And she posts this morning, oh, it's a dream. And then she quotes the tweet like maybe 30 minutes later, like, oh, never mind, I was released. There's also some people stating on Twitter that maybe she was released due to her momentum coming back at the Royal Rumble. I think that may be the case. I also feel like they kind of just fed her to Ronda Rousey when she came back. I feel like my biggest problem with Emma's release is they literally didn't even try. They really didn't give her an opportunity to cut a promo. She was like, she just kind of came back. Like, they just never really... I'm just speechless because I just feel like I can't stress enough how they literally did not even fucking try to utilize Emma aside from fucking main event. They could have had Emma and Dana come back and challenge for the women's tag team championships. I mean, you literally have a women's tag team division. You literally have two women that you're claiming you can't find anything to do for, or you don't have anything for them to do. And you have a tag team division that's on fucking life support. So why are you not putting these teams together? Why are you not trying to make as many teams as possible to put these, to put some life into these tag team titles? I'm sad that Emma was released for the second time, but I also know that Emma will be able to go back to Tenille Dashwood and, you know, just continue to live out her wrestling journey. And I know there's a lot of people that say, well, oh, why would Emma even go back? Because when you grow up with this as your dream, there's a lot of people that grow up with the dream of being a WWE superstar. No offense to TNA, but, you know, they're not growing up with the dream of, oh, I want to be a TNA Impact Knockout. I want to be an AEW women's wrestler. They want to be WWE superstars. They want to wrestle in front of 25,000 people on a weekly basis. You know, that's what they want to do. That's what they dream about. So when you say, oh, why would she even go back? It's her fucking dream. And, you know, I guess if you don't really have dreams or anything like that, I guess it's not really something that you can understand, you know. But when you go out and you rebuild yourself for a year, you definitely don't expect the same result. And Emma went out and she rebuilt herself as Tenille Dashwood, became a tag team champion, did some great work in NXT, was in all over the place, really, or no, excuse me, not NXT, TNA, really was all over the place for quite a bit of time, and then came back to WWE, obviously not expecting the same result, and then got the same result. I just think it completely sucks for Emma, but again, I am excited to see what Tenille Dashwood does. Last but not least, I feel like the most disrespectful release of them all is Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler has literally been in the company since I was a child as a part of the Spirit Squad. So the fact that Dolph Ziggler has been there for almost 20 years and you don't even give him like a producer position, you don't even, you know, let him leave on his own terms. I mean, I feel like the least you could have did was let his contract expire. You couldn't find anything for Dolph Ziggler to do. I mean, best super kick in the business, one of the best sellers in the business. I genuinely don't believe there was nothing that you could find for Dolph Ziggler to do. Thinking back, I do think there was kind of issues between Dolph and Triple H back in the day, so maybe, I wonder if this is maybe like Get Back? I don't think it's Get Back, but you never know, really, but I just don't understand why he would not be able to leave on his own terms. That was really baffling to me. That was really probably the most disrespectful release of them all. I mean, John Cena tweeted that he's had over 1,000 matches today, Dolph Ziggler has. So I just can't even believe that they would just completely disregard not only Dolph Ziggler, but all of these. Shelton Benjamin, Emma, Ali. I mean, Ali was in pretty much carried 205 Live. Emma pretty much started the women's revolution with Paige. I mean, they just don't care about any of this shit. I mean, it is unfortunate. At the end of the day, business is business. And there was also some people saying, oh, well, how can they announce this the same day that they announce $1 billion TV deal? Absolutely bad timing. Absolutely bad timing. But we do, again, have to take into consideration that there was a long period of time where they could not do anything. They could not hire, they could not fire, they couldn't do anything. So was that bad timing? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I do definitely kind of feel like at the end of the day, it is just business is business. But a lot of these releases are complete bullshit. They're complete bullshit. But this is Dame Don. Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, I will be dropping a Jade Cargill podcast later this week. If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure you like and subscribe. They are both completely free of charge. Again, I appreciate you all for listening. Peace out.